Hi everyone, we're back. I'm joined by Evan from Focusrite Group, and today we're going to be talking about their DAW, learning more about it. So let's start. Could you please walk us through? There are so many different setups here.
Sure. Yeah. So at the first station, we have our Launchpad Mini, Launch Key Mini. These are the two smallest MIDI controllers that we have. They've been out for a couple of years, but we just have them on display if people want to play with them a little bit. But these two products right here are really cool. These are the new Vocasters. So we just announced these yesterday, I believe. These are brand new, and these are podcasting interfaces built from the ground up, meant specifically for podcasters. So the Vocaster one has one mic input, one headphone output. So if you're a solo podcaster, this is a good solution for you. But let's go over to the Vocaster 2. This one has two mic inputs and two headphone outputs with individual volume controls. So each podcaster can control their volume to their preferred levels. And we've made it really easy for users to get up and running. We have a super easy to use auto gain feature. So if I press and hold this button and I just speak into the mic for a couple seconds, the Vocaster is automatically going to set the volume for me. So if I have no prior knowledge of podcasting or how to use audio equipment, you don't have to worry about it with this. It'll take care of that for you. We also have a really handy enhance button. You can think of it like the magic wand button on your iPhone. It makes everything look nice. Well, this will apply EQ and compression to make your voice sound nice. So it's just a click of a button. And we have 4 different presets. We have clean, warm, bright, and radio. And radio gives you that nice, deep, compressed sort of type of sound. And then we have a really handy mute button. So if you're podcasting, you have to cough, you have to sneeze, just hit the mute button, do your thing, unmute yourself. The Vocaster 2 has a really cool feature with Bluetooth. So if you're interviewing someone over your phone, you can connect to Bluetooth and record that audio from your phone through the Vocaster, as well as send your audio from the mic to your cell phone. There's also a camera mic output. So if you have a visual aspect to your podcast, you can just connect your camera to here, and that way you have the audio directly on your camera. And of course, you can hook up speakers to this. A lot of podcasters just prefer to use the headphones, but if you want to hook up speakers, you can do that as well.
Awesome. And what is this here?
This is the FL Key. So we have the FL Key 37 and the FL Key Mini. These are MIDI controllers made specifically for FL Studio. There hasn't been a lot of options for FL Studio users when it comes to MIDI controllers, and so this is a great option for them. And this is the only FL MIDI controller with keys on it. So it can do a lot of cool things. I'm going to reload my session here, and I'll give you a quick run through. So FL Studio has a really cool sequencer, and we can control the sequencer on the keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it into sequencer mode. Go up to my kick drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go down to my clap. Open hi-hat. Snare. And maybe I want to change the pitch of the snare. I can easily do that. Let's add some hi-hats. And we can change the velocity of our hi-hats to give it more groove. It's really easy to do. Just press and hold a step. We'll hit this second knob, and we can see the visual feedback here. Just changing our velocity gives it a little bit more groove. So it's super fast, super easy to use, and it just gives you hands-on control of FL Studio. So instead of using the mouse and individually clicking one of these buttons, just do it right here.
Great. And this is for the FL Studio.
That's correct. Yeah, FL Studio. You can use it with other DAWs, but you're going to get the most use out of it with FL Studio.
And what about those MIDI keyboards?
So the Launchpad Mini and the Launch Key Mini are Ableton-based controllers. You can use them with Logic as well and Cubase. But a big selling point of the Launchpad is like the big grid, and that's what you get in Ableton Live with Session View. So you potentially could use it with other DAWs, but you're going to get the most use out of it with Ableton Live.
So if you're an artist that's just starting out, how do you choose your MIDI keyboard? Like, does it depend on what software you're using, or what is?
Yeah, that's a great question. It depends on a lot of things. If you already know the DAW you want to use, like say you want to use FL Studio, well then you're going to want to use an FL key. If you're using Ableton Live or Logic, well then you're probably going to want to use a launch key. If you want to go DAW-less and completely forget about the computer, you can use something like the Circuit Rhythm, which is all included. All the sounds are made on this unit itself. So no need for a computer or anything like that. So it really just depends on what you're trying to accomplish, what gear you already have, or what gear you think you might want in the future. It's a good time to be a music creator. There's so many different options, and it can be overwhelming, but FL Studio, Ableton Live are two DAWs I recommend all the time. So depending on what you want there, either the FL key or the launch key.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering our questions. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.